What if Mars had an ocean? Mars today is dry, dusty, and about as wet as your grandma's toaster. But what if that changed? What if one day, whether through terraforming or a freak space weather event, Mars was covered with an ocean? Let's dive in. Did Mars ever have water? Actually, yes. Billions of years ago, Mars had rivers, lakes, and maybe even oceans. We found dried riverbeds, deltas, and minerals that only form in water. But over time, solar radiation stripped away the atmosphere, and the water either escaped into space or froze underground. Still, there's evidence that Mars once had as much water as Earth's Arctic Ocean. So, what if we put that water back? Let's say we go full sci-fi and magically restore all the water. How much of Mars would be underwater? Answer: about 20% of the surface. The lowest areas, like Hellas Basin, Valles Marineris, and the northern plains, would flood. You'd get giant Martian seas, enormous inland lakes, and maybe even Martian beaches. What would it look like? It would look gorgeous. The contrast of deep blue oceans and red deserts would be stunning. You'd have thin coastlines snaking across rust-colored terrain, ice-covered poles, maybe even clouds and rain cycles, something Mars hasn't seen for billions of years. It'd be like the Southwest USA, if the Grand Canyon could drown. Pressure problems. Okay, here's the tricky part. Mars has very low atmospheric pressure, less than 1% of Earth's. That means liquid water can't exist on the surface for long. It would boil away instantly, even at freezing temperatures. Yes, you read that right. On Mars, water boils while freezing. Thanks, physics. So for oceans to exist, Mars would need a thicker atmosphere, either through terraforming, gas generators, or trapping greenhouse gases. Gesti geta weird. Mars' gravity is only 38% of Earth's. That changes everything. Waves would be slow and dramatic, rain would fall in lazy arcs, fish would be extra floaty, and your cannonball splash would be legendary. But it also means the ocean's pressure at depth would be much lower than on Earth. So deep-sea creatures, if they evolved, would have way less squish factor. Could life exist? Maybe. Liquid water is the #1 requirement for life, as we know it. So, if Mars had oceans again, with warmth, sunlight, and nutrients, life might arise. Or reawaken. Maybe microbial, maybe seaweed, maybe tentacles. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. But even basic Martian plankton would be a game changer. Phew. Sure. If Mars had an ocean, 1/5 of the surface would be water. The planet would look beautiful. We'd need to fix the atmosphere, gravity would make everything weird, and life might just return. In short, Mars plus ocean equals awesome. But physics equals complicated. Terraforming is hard, but imagining is free.